Hello friends, welcome to C Programming video tutorials series. In the previous video tutorial, we started discussing dynamic memory allocation in C. We understood that C programming language allows us to allocate, reallocate and deallocate memory locations at runtime, that is, during the execution of a program or an application. Allocating, reallocating and deallocating memory locations at runtime is called dynamic memory allocation. To allocate, reallocate and deallocate memory locations at runtime, we take help of malloc, calloc, realloc and free functions which are part of stdlib.h header file. To use malloc, calloc, realloc and free functions inside any C program, we must include stdlib.h header file, guys. In this video tutorial, I would like to discuss malloc function and free function. Malloc stands for memory allocation. Memory allocation. It allocates single memory block of a given size in bytes. Malloc function allocates a single memory block of a given size in bytes. The allocated memory block contains collection of memory locations, each of size 1 byte. The allocated memory block again contains collection of memory locations, each of size 1 byte. Each memory location inside allocated memory block is initialized with some garbage integer value, guys. On success of memory allocation, it returns beginning address of the allocated memory block. If the allocation fails, it returns the null value, guys. Malloc function, on success of memory allocation, it returns beginning address of the allocated memory block. If the allocation fails, it returns the null value, guys. Syntax of malloc function is void star malloc size t size in bytes, where void star indicates generic pointer type which can be converted to any specific pointer type, guys. Void star can be converted to int star, char star, float star, etc, 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 guys. Malloc function accepts single parameter which is size in bytes of type size t, guys, where size t indicates unsigned integer value or positive integer value. To the malloc function, we pass a positive integer value which indicates size of the memory block to be allocated in bytes. For example, malloc size of int, it allocates a single memory block of size 4 bytes. We know that size of int is 4 bytes. So, if we say malloc 1 multiplied by size of int is 4, 4 into 1 is 4. Malloc 4, what it does? It allocates single memory block of size 4 bytes, initializes with garbage integer values and returns the beginning address of the allocated memory block as a generic pointer type which can be converted to any specific pointer type. Malloc 5 into size of int, what it does? Size of int is 4, 5 into 4 is 20. It allocates single memory block of size 20 bytes and initializes with garbage integer values and returns the beginning address of the allocated memory block as a generic pointer type which can be converted to any specific pointer type, guys. Let's go to code block and understand everything clearly step by step. I double click on code blocks icon to launch the code blocks IDE. You can see that code blocks IDE is launched. I'm going to create one new project. I say file, new project. I select here projects, say console application, say go. Then I say next, I select C language, I say next. Then I give the project name malloc function demo. I say next, say finish. You can see that malloc function demo project is created. I click on the plus sign, I double click on main.c to open. You can see that main.c file is open. I am going to delete this line of code which is not necessary. Already stdlib.h header file is included, so we need not include it once again. Here I say int star iptr equal to null semicolon. What happens when we execute this application? First, memory locations for global variables are allocated within the static memory, guys. And then the main function is pushed on top of the stack. And then local variables are allocated within the stack memory, guys. iptr is local to the main function. So for IPTR, memory location is allocated within the stack memory. What computer does? It allocates a memory block of size 4 bytes. To that memory block, it gives the name IPTR. Puts the initial value inside it, null. Let's assume its address is hash 12, guys. That's what happens inside the memory, guys. Let me explain about 3 important parts of the memory. We need to understand them. There are 3 important parts or pools of the memory which are being used by any C program. They are static memory, stack memory and heap memory, guys. Static memory. Static memory is used to allocate memory locations for global and static variables. Variables which are declared outside a function are considered as global variables. For example, if I say here int x semicolon, I am declaring x variable outside the main function. So it is considered as a global variable. For global variables, memory locations are allocated within the static memory, guys. Next, variables which are declared using static keyword are considered as static variables. For example, if I say here static int y is a static variable, guys. For static variables, memory locations are allocated within the static memory, guys. Understanding? Global and static variables are persisted throughout the execution of the program. That means global and static variables are available throughout the execution of the program. Once the execution of the program ends, then memory locations allocated for global and static variables are deallocated, guys. Next we have stack memory. Stack memory is used to allocate memory locations for local variables. And what are local variables? Variables which are declared inside a function are considered as local variables. Here IPTR is a local variable of the main function. So IPTR is allocated within the stack memory, guys. Understanding? Next, local variables of a function are persisted as long as that function is executing. Once that function ends the execution, memory locations allocated for local variables of that function are deallocated, guys. So the difference between static memory and stack memory is static memory is used to allocate memory locations for global variables. Stack memory is used to allocate memory locations for local variables. Variables which are declared outside a function are considered as global variables, and variables which are declared inside a function are considered as local variables. Global and static variables are persisted throughout the execution of the program, whereas local variables are persisted as long as that function is executing, guys. Next we have heap memory. Heap memory is used to allocate memory locations which are being allocated during runtime. Heap memory is used to allocate memory locations which are being allocated using malloc and calloc functions, guys. Let me go to code block. I say here IPTR is equal to, I call the malloc function, I pass here size of int to it. Then I say semicolon. Either we can write size of int or we can write here 1 multiplied by size of int. That means we want to allocate a memory block of size 4 bytes. And it returns the address of the allocated memory block in the form of white star. We have to convert it into a int star, guys, because on the left hand side we have a pointer variable of type int star. That's the reason we should write here int star. What happens when this line of code is executed? malloc allocates a memory block of size 4 bytes on the heap memory or within the heap memory, guys. It allocates a memory block of size 4 bytes. In this memory block we have 4 memory locations, each of size 1 byte. So 1, 2, 3, 4, total 4 bytes. Initializes it with the garbage integer value. Understanding? Let's assume its address is hash 100, guys. And this hash 100 is returned back assigned to IPTR. The current value of IPTR is null. It is erased. And hash 100 is stored. Understanding? And once we store address inside a pointer variable, we know that it starts pointing to that memory location. IPTR points to the memory location which has the address hash 100. We can change the value of hash 100 memory location. And how do we do that? We say here star IPTR equal to 100 semicolon. What is the meaning of this line of code? We have star IPTR equal to 100. What is value of IPTR? Value of IPTR is hash 100. We have here hash 100. We are telling value of hash 100 should be equal to, let me set here 10 instead of 100. Value of hash 100 should be 10. What happens here? Garbage integer value from hash 100 is removed and it is assigned with the value 10, guys. That's what happens when this line of code is executed. We can display value of hash 100 memory location using this IPTR variable. We can simply say here printf, in double quotations I say value of hash 100 memory location equal to %d \n comma, we say here star IPTR semicolon. Definitely we will get here 10 displayed, guys. Value of hash 100 equal to 10 displays. One of the most important point you should remember that memory locations which are allocated during runtime using malloc and calloc functions are persisted even after the program execution ends. That means if you execute this program and stop the execution of the program, the memory locations which are allocated using malloc or calloc functions are persisted even after the program execution ends. This is most important point to understand and remember, guys. So it is programmer's responsibility to free them before the program execution ends, guys. This memory location is at present locked, guys. It is locked to the current application, guys. This memory location cannot be used by any other application. Once the application execution ends, definitely we have to free this memory location so that other applications can utilize this memory location, right, guys? It is programmer's responsibility. It is programmer's responsibility to free the memory locations which are allocated using malloc and calloc functions before the program execution ends. If you do not free the dynamically allocated memory locations before the program execution ends, then they will not be available to use for any other applications, which is called as memory leak or memory leak problem, guys. There should not be memory leak in our application, right? So we have to free it. How do we free? To free allocated memory locations, we take help of free function, guys. Free function is used to deallocate or free the dynamically allocated memory locations before the program execution ends. The syntax of free function is void free void star pointer. What it does, it deallocates or frees the memory block pointed by the given pointer variable, where void indicates free function does not return anything back. Void star pointer indicates any type of pointer. To the free function we can pass any type of pointer, and what it does, it deallocates or frees the memory block pointed by the given pointer variable, guys. For example, free IPTR, what it does, it deallocates or frees the memory block pointed by the IPTR. Once you deallocate or free the memory block pointed by the IPTR, immediately you set the IPTR to null, which makes the IPTR not to point any memory location, guys. So what you do, before the program execution ends, somewhere you will be calling the free function and you pass to it IPTR. Understanding? What this line of code does, it just makes this hash 100 memory block to be accessible to any other application. It makes it free, guys. And once you make it free, immediately you set IPTR to null, guys. And what it does, it makes the IPTR not to point any memory location. So here it is assigned with the null value, guys. It is assigned with the null value, and once we store a null inside a pointer, it is not going to point to any memory location or memory block, guys. And this memory location is going to be deallocated, and then the local variables of the main function are deallocated or removed, and the main function from the stack is removed, guys. That's what happens when you run this and stop the execution of the program, guys. If I say build and run, it displays value of hash 100 is 10. Once you stop executing this program, the memory location pointed by the IPTR is freed and IPTR is set to null, and later IPTR is going to be removed from the stack and the main function is removed from top of the stack, guys. I hope you guys have clearly understood. I am going to delete this code from here. Let's understand one more example. What we do now is we create a single memory block of size 20 bytes. malloc 5 into size of int. Size of int is what? 4. 5 into 4 is what? 20. malloc 5 multiplied by size of int allocates single memory block of size 20 bytes, initializes with garbage integer values, and returns the beginning address of the allocated memory block as a generic pointer type, which can be converted to any specific pointer type. Right, guys? Let me go to code block. I say here int star IPTR equal to null. What happens when this line of code is executed? Of course, first the main function is pushed on top of the stack. Main function is pushed on top of the stack and local variables are allocated. IPTR, for IPTR 4 bytes of memory location or the memory block is allocated on the stack and its name is what? IPTR. It is initialized with the value null. Let's assume its address is hash 12. It is not going to point to any memory block, right, guys? That's what happens when this line of code is executed. Next, what I do, I say here IPTR is equal to, I say here int star, I call the malloc function, I say here 5 multiplied by size of int semicolon. What happens here? Computer allocates a single memory block of size 20 bytes, guys. Here we have a memory block which has 4 bytes. I am going to copy this and paste it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. What malloc 5 into size of it does? It allocates a single memory block of size 20 bytes on the heap, guys, and returns the beginning address. Returns the beginning address. Let's assume beginning address is hash 20, which is assigned to IPTR, guys, which is assigned to what? IPTR. IPTR is going to have hash 20, and we know that once we store address inside a pointer variable, it starts pointing to that memory block or memory location, guys. IPTR points to the memory block which has the address hash 20, and here all memory locations are initialized with garbage integer value. Understanding? We will be having garbage integer value, garbage integer value, garbage integer values, garbage integer values. Understanding? That's what happens inside the memory when this line of code is executed. If we say star IPTR equal to 10, what happens? Of course, we have the expression star IPTR equal to 10. What is the value of IPTR? Value of IPTR is hash 20. We are telling the value of hash 20 memory location should be 10. What happens here? Value of hash 20 memory location is set to 10, guys. Of course, for integers we need 4 bytes of memory location, right? Next, this memory location address will be hash 24. This memory location address will be hash 28. This memory location address will be hash 32. And this memory location address will be hash 36, guys. 20 plus 4 is 24, 24 plus 4 is 28, 28 plus 4 is 32, 32 plus 4 is 36. We can set the value of hash 24. How do we do that? We write a mathematical expression star in brackets, we write IPTR plus 1 equal to, let's say, 11 semicolon. What happens when this expression is executed? Let me explain. I copy this expression and paste here. I told you that if you add an integer value to a pointer variable, implicitly the given integer value is multiplied by size of the pointer variable type. Here IPTR is of type integer and size of integer is what? 4. So 1 is implicitly multiplied by 4, guys. 1 into 4 is 4. What is value of IPTR? Value of IPTR is hash 20. Hash 20 plus 4 is what? Hash 24. Value of hash 24 memory location should be 11. That is the meaning of this line of code, guys. What happens here? Value of hash 24 memory location is going to become 11 guys. We can set value of hash 28 memory location. What I do here, I say star in brackets, I say IPTR plus 2 equal to, let's say 12 semicolon. What happens when this expression is executed? Of course, 2 is implicitly multiplied by 4. 2 into 4 is 8. Value of IPTR is hash 20. Hash 20 plus 8 is hash 28. Value of hash 28 is going to become 12 guys. Value of hash 28 is going to become 12. Next what I do, I say here star in brackets, I say IPTR plus 3 equal to 13 semicolon. What happens here? This expression is implicitly converted to IPTR plus 3 into 4. Given integer value is multiplied by size of the pointer variable type, that is int, size of int is 4. 3 into 4 is 12. Value of IPTR is hash 20. Hash 20 plus 12 is what? Hash 32. Value of hash 32 is 13. Value of hash 32 memory location is going to be set to 13 guys. Understanding? Next what I do, I say here star in brackets, I say IPTR plus 4 equal to 14 semicolon. What happens here? Star IPTR plus 4 equal to 14 is converted to star IPTR plus 4 into 4. 4 into 4 is 16. IPTR value is what? Hash 20. Hash 20 plus 16 is what? Hash 36. Value of hash 36 is set to 14. Here this is set to 14 guys. Hash 36 memory location value will be 14. And we can display value of hash 20, hash 24, hash 28, hash 32, hash 36 memory location using printf statement. Here I say printf, in double quotations I say value of hash 20 memory location equal to %d \n comma. We simply say here star IPTR. Then we say semicolon. I'm going to copy this. Definitely we will get here 10 guys. I'm going to copy this line of code, paste 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. I say here hash 24, hash 28, hash 32, hash 36. Here we are going to write this expression IPTR plus 1. Here we say IPTR plus 2, IPTR plus 3, IPTR plus 4. IPTR plus 2, IPTR plus 3, IPTR plus 4. We'll get here 11, 12, 13 and 14. I told you that before the program execution ends, we have to free the memory location or memory block pointed by the IPTR. So we call the free function and we pass IPTR. Immediately we set IPTR to null semicolon. If I say build and run, it displays 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that is how we take help of malloc function to dynamically allocate memory locations. I hope you guys have clearly understood the malloc function and free function. I think for this video tutorial, this much is enough friends. I suggest you people to watch this video again and again, understand everything clearly. Try this code yourself, experiment with more examples. In the upcoming video tutorials, we are going to discuss more about C programming language. For more benefits and be up to date, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, comment and share this video with others so that everyone will get benefited. Keep learning, keep coding, keep sharing. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. See you in the next tutorial.